Well, hello. Welcome to our continuing devotional through the book of Colossians. We're currently in Colossians chapter 1, and we're looking at verse 22, where it says this: He, Jesus, has now reconciled us in his body of flesh by his death, in order to present you holy and blameless and above reproach before him. So in our last devotional, in verse 21, we saw that reconciliation is needed by everyone because we're alienated, we're hostile in mind, and we do evil deeds. But now in verse 22, we're told that what Jesus has done is totally sufficient. Reconciliation is totally completed by Jesus. There is a misconception, a very serious misconception held by some people that basically that makes our right relationship with God contingent upon us contributing our good works, our religious activities to what Jesus has done for us. It's almost like Jesus becomes a good defense attorney at a parole hearing where the defense attorney helps the potential parolee by pointing out all the good things the parolee has done and their record of good behavior. And some people look at salvation that way, that basically we do our best, we do some good things, maybe not perfect, and then Jesus kind of makes up for the rest of it. And that's not unheard of. There are many Catholics who believe that, certainly many Mormon, Jehovah's Witnesses, and many Protestants. But the Bible teaches us that reconciliation is totally completed by Jesus. We never have to ask the question, have I done enough? We don't have to worry about failing in the future. We're not like a high school student waiting to get a letter and find out whether we have done enough to get admittance and acceptance to the college of our choice. Jesus has already done it. It says in verse 22, we are now, very key word, now reconciled by his death. Not tomorrow, not some distant future, not when you meet some criteria. You are now reconciled. Just as there's a difference between being on trial and waiting for the verdict and having the verdict already declared not guilty, that's with us. We're not waiting for the verdict. We've already been declared not guilty. We've already been reconciled. And that leads to, verse 22, the promise that he will present us holy, blameless, and above reproach. Even though our spiritual credit report in our mind may have all these failures. We were unloving, we were unfaithful, we lied, we lost our temper, whatever the case may be. Jesus has eradicated all that so that, figuratively speaking, if we had a spiritual credit report, it would have no blemishes. It would have no late payments. It would have no flaws. It would say perfect, unblemished record. That's why it says here that we're wholly blameless and above reproach. Now, it says we're above reproach, verse 22, before him, before God. You may not be above reproach before anyone else. The world and your friends and your spouse may point out continually all your failings, and they may be correct in that. But because of Jesus, before him, we're completely above reproach, and he's the judge, and therefore, in the end, his verdict, his decision is the only one that matters. So reconciliation is totally completed by Jesus. We are now reconciled, and I hope that you will rejoice in that. Have a blessed day.